Hello, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Alton Planning Board meeting Tuesday, May 21st, 2024 at 6 p.m. My name is Bill O'Neill, Chairman, and we do a roll call of board members.
Doug Brown.
Tom Divney.
Mark Manning.
Roger Sam. I'm still Roger Sam.
Lee Hillsgrove.
Tom Hoops.
Christine O'Brien.
Drew Carter, Select Board Member.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we don't need any appointment of alternates. We have everyone full board tonight. And approval of agenda. Do we have any changes? Sorry.
Mr. Chair, there's one change. There's an addition under other business, number 4C. You should have in front of you a letter dated May 6, 2024 to Taco Bay. And that's the only change.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move right on to item 1, case number P 24-17 for a completeness review. Proposal to permit uses, amusement use, indoor arcade and professional office rental business in an existing structure.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
So in front of you, I have provided an updated waiver list and an updated site plan. So the ones that came with the planner review are outdated now at this point. I have not had a chance to review it.
Push the button.
Just so I can get clear in my mind where we're at. Taco Bay is at 404 Main Street, and this is at 404 Main Street. So this is not in the little garage building.
So Taco Bay is in the big main store building right on the corner.
Yeah.
This little building is actually Mount Major Highway. So
Which
it's
But it gets the same
it's kind of
address?
behind it.
It has the same address?
Currently, it has the same address, but that it's been recommended by the fire department that it receives its own E911 address,
Okay.
so that it's not confusing.
So we're talking about two different buildings, Tacos.
They are two different buildings,
Okay.
right? Currently, they're the same address. So in the planner review, I did list out all of the waivers, but I think the updated waiver list has a few more on there and it's not reflected in the planner review. So you might have to shimmy between both of them.
I'd be happy.
Well, we have to go through the waivers first, before we get to completeness. So we'll have to go through each waiver. Line by line.
Yeah, that's the outdated one.
Okay.
So the waiver list that's stamped May 20th is the old one, so that you know.
How many more were added?
I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. I just got this yesterday, mind you,
Okay.
just so that you know.
Jessica, is the May 21st, is this the right one, May 21st document that you created?
Is that the planner review?
Yes.
Yes. I didn't have a chance to update that.
You didn't update that one.
I did not have a chance to update that to reflect the additional waivers that's on that new list. So it looks like, so on the.
I count
That's
the
not
same
right.
number.
It looks like.
But
The
these-
3.01
Oh,
G
okay,
two,
all right,
3,
gotcha.
4, and
So
5,
get all
Brad?
those
Is
added.
that-
So May 20th is the, all right, so May 20th is the latest, April 29th is the old one, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a whole month, that's different.
Very helpful. And then I received it in a review on Friday at the last PM. And
That would be Thursday.
that's, what it's count. And then basically I ended up doing Monday request.
Yeah, the additions are, yeah, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to that last one. Sorry.
You agree they're not applicable?
I'm sorry?
The comment that they're not applicable, is that from
That's
the applicant?
That's from the applicant.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So do we know what G 2, 3, 4, and 5 specifically are? There's no description or reasoning behind declaration that they're not applicable?
It would appear that there's no description. For the additional
And then
ones.
there's a whole, yeah.
There's a
then the
description.
other ones, yeah.
In the planner review, because there was no description on the waiver request, so you guys would have no idea exactly what you were waiving.
We still don't know.
Kind of
what's-
hard to act upon that.
Exactly. Yeah.
According to your application, that's right here. That's the regulation. That was submitted to this. That would be-
Yeah, we don't give them the checklist. Yeah, so all of that information on the checklist, that's why my planner review is like 12 pages long. So I gather all of this information in one document, so the board can look at one thing and all of this stuff is listed on there. For efficiency. What was it? Oh, the application checklist.
Well, I'm a little unclear here, so maybe you can bring me up to speed. I'm not certain what April we're looking at the waivers. Is this the second page of this, where the waivers begin? Or you were talking about some,
Well,
Can I just come show you what,
yeah, if you would, that'd be great. I know you were talking about some May 20th or some other date waiver sheet.
what do you got here? So that's your plan review. So, sorry. Shutting. Planning review. So this list of waivers has the explanation as to what the actual.
Right.
But it doesn't include, where's your new stuff? From May 20th.
I'm going through that, trying to catch up to where you go.
So it looks like this.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah, so that was kind of separate. Oh, it might be over here because it was a separate. Yes, yes,
Okay.
that piece of paper. So this piece of paper. 2, 3, 4, and 5 aren't listed on here because they're additions.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he's talking about. So you're unsure of what 2, 3, 4, and 5 are. Because there's no like,
Okay, so we're gonna start with these?
yeah, you have to go start with the waivers.
Well, I mean, these particular ones, 2, 3, and 4.
Just start with one word. We can go through these one by one.
Where is it?
I would suggest you go through these one by one, only because there are some in here that I feel like you can waive. So they might have different votes.
Um,
It's gonna take a little while. There's 25 of them total.
yeah, I know.
And so the issue is now I have to scramble to get you guys the explanations.
And we still don't know what 2, 3, 4, and 5 are.
Yeah,
as far
right,
as
that's what
yeah,
I'm
right.
saying.
But let's
Yeah.
pick away at what we
Let's,
can.
let's, yeah, so
Yep.
let's start with the first one. Section 301F5, zone districts and the location of all applicable setbacks. And you wrote setbacks not applicable. The setbacks, we put them there, in the plan, right?
Well, I'm assuming it's an existing structure.
Yeah.
It's-
I guess a dumb question comes up. How long is grandfathering good for? When you change use, does that change the status of grandfathering?
Yes, you lose your vestment when you have a change of use, an expansion of use, anything that changes on a lot, in a business.
But it changes not for the entire lot, but it changes for each structure?
Right, so we're not addressing the
Right. Okay.
main store. Yeah, just this little building. Okay, so you guys should just you should just go down each one and
Okay.
vote whether you
So-
feel like you need it. If
so-
approved, you're either gonna grant them or you're gonna deny it.
So you guys want, so the
Um,
setbacks,
Okay, so I'm
what do you
gonna
guys
ask,
want to do with that?
can I ask another question?
Sure.
It says setbacks not applicable. That means you skip over it, doesn't it? It means they don't, not applicable, means they don't matter.
Then we have to vote to waive it. Yes.
Turn your mic on. No, it should
It's
be
on-
green.
It's on the back.
There you
No,
go.
there you go. Just leave it. There you go.
Leave it?
Yeah,
leave it.
Okay, all right. So, through you, so this is an existing structure. It's been there since the seventies, I believe, or early eighties. That's why most of these minor site plan reviews are usually, your site plan application is geared towards a new build or a new building or an alteration of some sort to that building. This structure is not being altered in any way. The arcade is actually already inside of this, and it's been there since the Winter Carnival, when we got the one-day exception. And this, so what we're doing is we're just looking to open the doors. We're not altering anything else. That's why the setbacks, I know they are existing, and I understand that, you know, if we change use, then it does come up if that's applicable. But
You said that Winter Carnival, you got the one exception?
Yep.
From who?
oh, so from the town manager, we have an ABA, we went through the ABA, and we were granted an exception for that day to open to the public.
But that's different than here, than this.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Yeah,
letting
I
you
mean,
know
that,
that.
I mean,
that's-
along those lines
yeah.
of thinking, a carnival comes into town and sets up, it doesn't give them squatters' rights to
No.
continue to operate.
Right,
So-
no, and I'm not,
This-
and I'm not saying
this
that.
is-
What I'm saying is that there's nothing, we're altering at all from the exterior or interior at this time.
I, you know, my particular take on this one, I don't particularly have an issue on this one. I'll make a motion to
For the setback?
the waiver.
I'll second the motion. Haven't been through this with the zoning board.
Okay, okay, any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, so that first one is waived. All right, let's move on to the second one. Section 3.01 F8, radius from private well or 200 feet from community well or public water line and the private water service line serving the property. And you put no water, no septic to structure. So this structure that has, you're proposing two businesses in here, that there's no water at all or septic or bathrooms or,
That is correct.
okay.
And I don't see anything on any drawings indicating any wells. I mean, I know we've got our municipal water supply running through there, so are there any wells do we know of in servicing any of those properties in that general area? I don't know, but
Yeah, I'm not aware of any. I mean, like you said, I know there's municipal water, but I don't know.
And
Well, there's something that predated the municipal.
And I just lease this building. I do not own this building.
Okay,
So I would mention that we should review the discussion from the Conservation Committee and the Water Department, and the concern of having no water, and more so, I think, no bathroom.
yeah, I agree with that statement, but I'm not sure how relevant that is to this specific waiver request.
Should we wait for the next one? Is that what you're saying?
well, because they're looking for the radius, right? The
Yeah.
Marking, the
Yeah,
marking of
I would
an
agree with you.
existing well,
Yeah,
Okay.
which.
But we don't know the answer to that.
right.
Right, we don't know the answer because there could be something there, we just don't know if it's there. All right.
At some point, it's not feasible to go the civil engineering route and expenditure that, you know, to gain that information if there's no, you know, there's no existing water or sewer.
But you can tell if, you know, everyone's on the water service line, right?
Yeah, I think it goes, that would mean I would have to survey the corner store.
Or confirm that they're not, you know, that they're not on a well. And that they're using the municipal supply as well as the diner, right?
I'm 100% positive that they're on
Yeah,
on the town water.
there's no wells down there.
No,
There aren't?
no.
Okay.
I mean, the town wells are down, but they're way, way down.
I've actually been in the basement of this corner store and there's a meter on that building.
Just as a side story, there's where Route 11 is actually part of where the train was, and the road actually is where the parking lot is. But I don't know if it was legally swapped or whatever, the state and the town have just accepted where it is. But that is a factor.
I think, I'm gonna make a motion to deny the request for waiver for section 3.01 F8. Because the fact that there's no water or septic to the structure is not a reason to approve the waiver. We need to know about adjoining properties as well.
So why are you doing it?
Sorry, what?
You said, you're denying 8 because
Well, because the reasoning that was presented to us is that there's no water or septic to the structure.
Right,
And the fact that there's no water or septic to that structure is irrelevant to surrounding structures
right.
Right.
that could be within that 200-foot radius.
Oh, there's definitely a septic system within the two, it's right next door.
Well, that's the next one that comes up as well.
You're right. That's,
I mean, there's a parking area right next to the building and that's the septic system for the store.
I think the only open question is does the diner, you know, if that's on this municipal water supply versus a well, to be
But
confirmed?
yeah, the diner's on municipal.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
okay.
down there.
All right, well then,
And there's a dwelling as well that's tucked down behind on the water. Right?
Right,
I think that's Irwin's, right?
yeah, everyone's.
Yeah.
and Roger, do you know if that's on?
Everybody would, down there would be on
Okay.
town water.
Then,
What was Jack's place?
that kind of makes your point moot,
That's
doesn't it?
town water. I mean, the skating rink,
If we know through knowledge,
Yeah.
the houses.
well, again, do we know or no, or kind of
He
guessing?
seems pretty certain.
I mean,
With that.
Mr. Chair, can I call for a point of order?
Yeah,
So Drew made a
Right.
motion. You guys should second it and then discuss it.
yeah. So can we get a second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
okay, sorry.
I don't want to get lost.
Nope, okay. Any discussion? We have a motion, and a second on the floor. So Roger says there aren't any, but I mean, do we, you know, the radius, you know, there was nothing written on the plan that says, no, there isn't. There isn't a need for the radius because there aren't any. We don't know.
Well, I'm sure at one point that the Alton Bay Inn had a well
Why?
prior to the septic system,
Why?
but.
The Alton Bay Indian across the street, Delos?
Yeah.
Why would they have a well?
Well, because it was an inn for a very long time. Prior to the water system being put in,
Mm.
so they wouldn't have been able to operate without a well. Whether it was a well attached to the lake, I don't know. But I mean, you know, if one is gonna check, that's the sort of thing you need to check. That was a public accommodations, you'd have to have something checked on with it.
And it would have to be properly decommissioned as
Well,
well.
here's the thing. If there's no septic, there shouldn't be any real concern about water. I mean, that's the two that don't go together, water and septic. So there is no septic. So, you know, there's a water line that goes right down within 200 feet. That's on there. So, I mean, are you gonna turn them down because the water goes past the building? I'd lean more towards it not having a septic, and that would be more the issue. But as far as 8, I mean, that certainly should be a non-app applier.
Would this be more of a, excuse me, would this be more, I know we just added Taco Bay to some agenda, I believe. That would more, you know, I think would be geared towards that building itself. And then to be able to, on that application, have them go and engineer that.
This has nothing to do with Taco Bay.
No, I'm just saying they're gonna be coming, I guess.
When they come.
I just heard.
When they come, that's a different story. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Then you'll need that.
They're not going in that building that you're in, right?
No,
Okay.
They're going
No,
in
no,
the
no.
corner, and then they're gonna have
Yeah.
to show where the septic is.
that's what
and-
I'm saying. And then at that point,
But that has nothing to do with this.
no.
So we're still stuck on number 8, right? Or
Yeah, the second one, Roger. Yep.
we're,
So the motion is to
Yeah, we
deny.
have a
the motion is denied, we're in
Motion to
discussion.
deny, so,
Yes.
and the motion to deny is because the answer that was given, no water, no septic is not a reason not to have the radius on there. And is that correct?
Right, so if there are existing wells, whether they're being used for potable water or not, any potential contamination of those wells is contamination of water supply in the lake, so.
From the
Right.
structure that I'm leasing?
So the regulation asks for either the well or public water line as well. It's not just well.
Right.
Yep.
And I understand that there's no construction proposed going on here to put any existing wells or water lines in, but that's not exactly how the ordinance reads, so. But, you know,
Okay.
the board can vote
In-
on it.
You
Yeah.
take a vote.
Any further discussion? Okay, there's a motion and a second to deny section 301 F8. All in favor of denying?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Nay.
opposed?
Nay,
All opposed.
nay,
Nay, excuse me.
How many nays were there down there?
Raise your hands.
Three.
3 nays.
Roger and Mark.
Okay, well, it passes.
It passes. Okay.
It's,
I think it should have been not applicable.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the next one, which we were already talking about, section 301 F9. Location of any existing septic tank and leach field for the on-site septic system or location of any percolation tests and proposed septic system locations. And the applicant said no water septic to structure. I really, I think we need to address the whole no water or septic to structure. The Conservation Commission, you know, they're concerned about not having water or septic to the structure, and the water department, you know, with the and
I
I
don't know as though
thought-
either of them would be pertinent. It would be more the building inspector. They're the ones that would say that a business has to have a bathroom. Is this just an open building? You go in there, nobody's watching the machines, nobody's giving you quarters?
That is correct.
That's correct?
Yeah.
It's just willy-nilly?
No, it's surveillance, and then, you know, we have staff that, I mean,
you don't have any on-site employees?
we'll have one staff for the office.
Well, they gotta have a bathroom.
You have to have a bathroom if you have someone on.
So here's what I did. I went ahead and gained restroom access, and I'd like to hand this out. In perpetuity, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, to the corner store. I will have access to that bathroom for staff. And it's on the contiguous lot that we're talking about. It's not on a different lot, but I'm not trespassing over another property. And that would suffice in a bathroom, staff bathroom. As others I know, even the village gas station has a porta potty outside for many years. But if you'd even like to go that route, and I'll get a porta potty for in the back and I can enclose it. Something along those lines, and I'll have it serviced and a maintenance plan submitted to you. But the expense for me as a lessee to go through connecting to water, connecting to sewer, it's for me, it's not feasible.
So, yeah, and again, you know, our concern is, okay, so you're gonna have the surveillance, you're gonna have an employee or some employees, but you have two businesses in here, right? That's what you have existing professional office, which
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what
It-
that is.
It's currently zoned as a professional office, and we're just
Okay.
gonna put the office in there.
Okay, so there is not an
I will be
existing
there.
business in there?
My wife will be there.
There's not an existing business in there in that one half? Across, next to the arcade?
It's my office, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That a notarized letter you got?
It's not notarized, but it is DocuSign. Digital sign. From New State Realty Management, which is the owner of the property.
This is a permanent.
I think we should
I think
get something in
we need to stay-
notarized if you're gonna use their
I think we
bathrooms. to go with
need to
porta
stay
potty.
focused and
Just stay with. the-
specifically address section 3.01 F9 regarding the location of existing septic tank and leach field. We know that there is a leach field 50, 60, 70 feet away, whatever, that services the, I assume the,
Yeah,
busy corner, busy bee.
It does,
And-
there's a shoreland permit plan in the Conservation Commission file that I found that was prepared by Tom Verney that shows the leach field. It's located like right in the middle of where everybody's parking,
Well, if
to the
you-
right side of the building.
It's in the parking lot.
excuse me, Jessica, so if you look on your plan that I submitted, it does say approximate location of leaching field and septic.
Right, so I pulled a plan
Mhm.
that was from a professional engineer who engineered that plan
Hmm.
for a shoreland permit, showing the leach field is right where the parking is.
I agree with that.
You're saying the leach field is under the asphalt?
It is,
Yeah.
according to that plan prepared by Tom Varney for a shoreland permit at some point.
Well, how long ago was that? Any idea? I think
It
it's
was
the
in
same,
the
but-
timeline you produced.
So I did a chronology of the entire property.
15?
Because I needed to, just to wrap my head around what's what.
So the septic and the leach field.
When did they convert the turntable?
You know, I believe it's just the leach field.
When did they convert it?
2015.
Before my birth.
Sometime in 2015, I think.
They rebuilt it.
Jessica, does that have on it within the wells and the water lines within 200 feet?
Oh, I see. what
They
you're
put
talking
the,
about.
That would apply, right?
railway ties in there and,
Right on.
and then they have the outbeat going.
That wasn't on the- Okay.
That was when we divided up all the rights to the septic between Victoria Pier, and the campground and everyone else. It was all broken down and added up. What the percentages and availabilities were.
Jessica, could I see that plan?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's pretty much where where your words are on the drawing. It's pretty much there.
Yeah, but. Plan.
Plan would actually show the water lines and the retaining walls and the septics, surrounding area as well. Good. Perhaps I can make a copy of this and send it to the board. And then we wouldn't have to waive that waiver.
Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Yep.
Doesn't,
Yes.
for F9 here, this seems to imply that we're talking about any septic tank or leach field for the on-site septic system for his location. Right? Just not in general. And the one we seem to be referencing is for the store next door.
It's for the general store, right?
Yeah, next door. So that's
It's on
not
the
even,
the same lot.
Same lot though.
because it's the same lot. Okay.
Yeah.
The on-site septic system.
Right, that's why I brought that up.
Okay.
So the question is really, the fact that he would have access to the facilities in the general stores that cover, the requirement.
It doesn't because that septic system isn't built for additional businesses.
It's,
Right, it is all built out, completely built out
It's,
and designated to different people.
right, it's
And
an
this was
old,
Done publicly a long time ago.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very old septic system. There was, like a pocket plan done in like 2015 or something or other. But other than that, yeah, so that plan,
Nothing new could be added in there. The only way you could do it would be with a porta potty or something like that.
right, so the question is, does the state allow that to happen. He'd have to provide that information from DES stating that he could have a porta potty, but
Mm.
as far as I know, you can't have porta potties unless you're a mobile crew, like a
Temporary.
contractor.
Yeah.
Contractors out on jobs have porta
No,
potties
I
all the
don't know
time.
that that's true. I mean, everybody and their brother gets one in the summertime and they have all the family. And like you said, Village Store has one. So I mean, yeah, you don't have to be a crew to get a porta potty.
I guess, for us, though, we can't grant the waiver is the way I
Right.
look at this.
I don't believe you'll have to grant the waiver if I submit this plan right here that Jessica had in her possession, that I can copy it and possibly submit it to the board, and we can maybe if an approval at the end of this, we could have a contingency that this is received and a condition.
I mean, I think it's still at the end of the day, I mean, tonight, we're trying to decide, whether the application is complete.
That is correct.
Right.
And so I don't think it's at, the level that the board can approve this as a waiver at this point, based on what we know.
I think we're all, it's hard because we're prescribed to address waivers first, and to go through that process, but we're clearly dancing around the fact that I believe that most or all of this board has a concern that there is no potable water or sewage available to this site. And I think that's the big
Exactly.
elephant in the room that we're dancing around. And as much as I'd love to have, an arcade, I think would be a great addition down there. I'm just not sure this is a structure, but so the question is how far do we take this process? And I pose that question to Jessica in the chair.
So I feel like you guys should continue through the list of waivers. And at the end of the list of waivers, you would be able to determine whether the application was complete or not. If the application is complete, then you guys can move forward with the public hearing. If the application is incomplete, then you would have to deny the application and the applicant would have to reapply according to your site plan regulations.
If I also may add, to Thomas's point, that the staff bathrooms at the corner store is for the corner store. So if that is also the case, and I can't use those, well, there's nobody in the corner store right now. There is zero tenant and zero approvals. That is who occupies the corner store right now? Can ask everybody. I think they were doing some renovations in there illegally for about a year. And now the guy that did the renovations is now in jail and took everybody for money. But that is being said, there's currently not any existing business in there. Therefore, I'm the staff that's going to use that one bathroom, and then it's up to Taco Bay. Saw a donut sign there the other day. It's up to them to come and get an additional to upgrade the systems if they have to for their staff, at that time. That has nothing to do with me. And for me to be able to use that bathroom, I'm saying that it's a contiguous lot, and I am the only person that will be using that bathroom currently.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Happens if all of a sudden that store gets rented out and the apartments get rented out, we gotta shut you down?
No, this is in perpetuity, and I can also,
Well,
Yeah.
before you do that.
Yeah.
Let's go in the other direction.
yeah,
Okay, so after you comes in the next people, Taco Bay and the donut shop, so that would be Rich, they'll probably have to do that. So now all of a sudden we tell Rich that, well, that septic system
Gotta upgrade
is
the
no
system.
good, and this and that and that. So now those businesses aren't gonna open, so now that store ain't gonna open. Is he gonna leave that store open for you to use the bathroom?
New State Realty Management LLC will allow any occupant or staff of 404 Main Street rear, Alton Bay, New Hampshire, 03810, access to restroom facilities located at 404 Main Street, Alton Bay, New Hampshire, 03810. Access will be allowed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in perpetuity. That means that forever. So if he denies that, then I have, recourse.
Yeah, but we're dealing with that stuff here.
Yeah, no, and like I said, that's my bathroom. So at the end of the day, that's my bathroom for my structure that I lease.
But again, what happens if they rents that store out and it gets everything going? That bathroom's, leaking system's only designed for that store.
Then
not for your business.
at that point, I have precedent over that and I will advance
Now
that.
you're gonna get the town in a legal battle.
No,
over
No.
Precedence. Oh,
no,
yes, you are.
you're actually saying that, is there a number, does anybody can clearly state that there's a number of staff that can use that bathroom?
Well, there actually is, because
Yeah.
I know,
I know if it's a certain number of staff, that's 2, 3, 8.
Based on
And
a
it might not be-
two-bedroom apartment at 300 gallons per day, deli, bakery, dry goods store at 115 gallons per day, 6 restaurant seats at 120 gallons per day based on paper usage at that restaurant. Total flow 535 gallons per day.
I think the question before us, though, is ultimately, can we grant the waiver? And I think the answer is becoming increasingly clear that we can't.
Right.
So I'd make a motion that unfortunately, we can't grant the waiver based on what we know today.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, so Jess says we'll keep going. So the next waiver, section 3.01 F10, location, height and design elevation showing the dimensions of proposed sign. And C sign permit application.
Right, so you guys don't have a copy of the sign permit application because it did not provide you the location, height, and design of the actual sign, so I didn't bother to copy it. But there is a copy of the actual, building with the signs on it. I thought that that was more useful, because the other paper didn't really have any pertinent information.
That has
But, I
dimensions as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
was trying not to bog you down with additional paperwork that didn't have good content.
So if then he doesn't need a waiver for that, right? Right.
So if that shows location, height, and design
Yeah.
with dimensions, then he does not need the
Right.
waiver.
So he would need that,
Right,
right?
so we could actually cross that
Yeah,
off.
we should be able to cross that one off, so,
Yeah,
yep,
So F10 is not
yep,
needed.
yeah,
my apologies.
that one's all
Yep.
set. No, that's
Okay.
fine. Okay, so section 3.01 F11, any plans for screening, any site features? Just putting that. So.
I mean, it's the bay.
That's, yeah.
There's no obligation
Yeah,
on his part.
there's no, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's an
Yeah.
existing structure. Again, if I own the building,
So we need a motion on that?
Yeah, so I'll make
Yeah,
a motion
wait.
to grant the waiver for section 3.01 F11.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, section 3.01 F12, location of rivers, streams, ponds, lakes, and other water courses or bodies of water. And you put no bodies of water on property.
Isn't there a lake right behind this?
I think so. right?
Another piece of property between it. Little pond there.
I make a motion that we accept the proposed waiver.
I'll second it.
All right, second, all right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Okay, section 3.01 F13, the location 100-year floodplain and floodways as designated by the flood insurance rate maps for the town of Alton effective May 17th, 1988 as amended. And it says see flood map. So,
Yep, there was a,
Bottom one. is
I
the
think it's
flood-
at the bottom of the
Yeah,
waiver list.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The highlighted area,
Yeah.
no,
the black line is the, plot.
So was it located in the floodplain? I guess is the question.
None of the lot is in floodplain.
There's a wall that
Comes up,
comes
correct.
up and prevents it. The other side of the bridge and everything else is wet.
Parker Range tends to be underwater half the year.
The motion that we accept it,
Second,
301
Okay.
F13.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. All right, next one, section 3.01 F14, location of the shoreland protection overlay district and the aquifer protection overlay district if applicable. Not applicable, CMAP. On the same-
I believe that property is over an aquifer. I think it's in here somewhere.
On your review, Jessica, you had added, and on the new plan, it's 301 F14, property is located over the aquifer protection overlay district.
Okay, see, on that updated plan. there's
On the
no-
updated plan, it's a
Perfect.
note.
Okay.
When the town redid the entire parking area, they put in a great number of sump pumps that are catching anything that goes into the parking lot, so. Those are pumped and cleaned out regularly, so if a car lost its oil or something like that, it'd go into the sump pump, not to the lake. So we're fortunate that that was done, I mean, it was a very good choice, it was expensive on the town's part, but it was a smart move.
14.
Property is located within the flood zone and over the aquifer. So it is in the
Okay.
flood zone.
That's what you had stated that it is in the flood zone. I have the flood map. It's stating it's not. And you wanted me to put that on this. According to your review.
Not too much soil left there, it's all paved.
I guess the question is it applicable at this point?
But, so we put notes on the plan, so that's actually not even needed.
Okay. So,
So, right, not applicable.
not applicable, so we don't even need to waive that, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Put that on, yes. Okay, next, section 3.01 F15. Location of wetlands included on the National Wetlands Inventory map and or any very poorly drained soils as mapped by the Natural Resource Conservation Service, if applicable. No wetlands on property, existing structure. So.
And the only stone wall of consideration is that retaining wall. It's back behind it.
We're pretty far into this, but I got a question.
Yeah.
Is this a minor site plan?
Yes.
All this stuff is on a minor site plan? This looks like a subdivision.
It's always been on the checklist since I've been here.
We've, well,
We don't often see this many
Yeah,
requests for waiver.
yeah.
I think that's
usually it's just
what
a
it is.
couple, yeah.
well, we don't see all this stuff on site plans. I mean, we've had hairdressers come in here, they don't have to put stone walls and cemeteries and wells and this seems like stuff for a major site plan to me.
No, they do have to put all that stuff if it's applicable.
Yeah. We
And-
just,
and again,
we
I
just
get-
don't see it.
So again,
Yeah.
because some of these, like Jessica was saying, some of these are not applicable. The waiver doesn't even need to be requested if it does not apply.
And I think that's the case on the one that's before us right now for that F-15.
Actually, according to Jessica's application, in the planning board's application, page 4, space D, it says applicants for all major site plan reviews are encouraged to discuss any waiver requests during the design review of the project that the applicant anticipates requesting with the final site plan application. That does state major and not minor.
Right, so can I address that?
Sure.
So the reason why it says major
Yeah.
is because when you have a major site plan application, you come in for design review first. And that design review is when you talk about stuff. Then when you come in for the final application, that's when the board grants waivers. And that's the same as a minor site plan application, because minor site plan does not have a design review phase. So you come in for final site plan when you come in with a minor application. So you addressed the waivers
Yeah.
at a final application.
Again, this is for any business that's gonna be coming into town, I guess, so.
So are we on 15?
Yeah, I think we're
Yes,
still
yeah.
stuck on 15, yeah.
So have we determined that that is not applicable? And therefore no action is required of the board?
Well, there's no soil.
Yeah,
As the,
We
it's
have-
asphalt.
Wetlands.
Right.
Yeah.
It's either not applicable or we should grant the waiver.
Yeah, and we know there's a big lake right behind it.
Mhm.
So
I make a motion that we grant the waiver.
I'll second it.
okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All opposed?
well, you don't give much chance for a discussion there, do you?
Did you want to discuss?
Well, I was just gonna make a statement for the record that I don't believe that any action is necessary by the board. I don't think this is even applicable.
There's that avenue you could take, I agree. But in the interest of moving this on.
Now you do your,
Can I
now
finish?
you do your
Okay,
yes and nays.
so second to that, I'm sorry.
I did. It was Tom. Yeah. Okay, all opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so I'll slow down for you, sorry. Section 301, F16, location of any stone walls, architectural or historic features in cemeteries or graveyards, and put not applicable.
So is there nothing historical about
Do,
anything in that area? The busy bee corner, is that?
2 lots down was the old railway and wharf and where the mount used to pull right into they had a dug in dry dock. But that's long ago. the mount number one.
Not applicable.
Man, there's some,
Are you asking me? a question?
yeah,
I'm sorry.
so is this applicable with the stone walls, historic, it has to be on the,
Yeah, I mean, if there's no stone walls in the area, that building, as far as I know, hasn't been listed with the National or the State
Like,
Historic
or the
Registry.
busy corner has, or you?
I mean, just because it's an old building.
old
Yeah, it's an old building,
Yeah.
but I don't know,
Not
because the
registered.
board doesn't have a definition of what is historic.
Okay. So,
So
so I don't even, do we even need to waive this, or
so he says it's not applicable, and if the board agrees it's not applicable, we can just
Okay.
cross it off.
we'll just cross that one off? Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to the next one, section 3.01 F17. Direction of stormwater flows on site and existing and proposed drainage facilities. And you put existing structure, no drainage on site.
I would grant this if I was you, because he's not doing any work outside.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we grant section 301 F17. That's written.
Second, a second.
okay. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, section 3.01 F19, temporary and permanent erosion and sediment control provisions if needed. Same
I'll make a
things.
motion to grant waiver for this.
Waiver. Okay,
I'll
Second,
second it.
second, any discussion?
The town sumps would cover all of that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Section 3.01 F20, general topography of the site at 20 foot
Not 20 feet of contour.
contours from USGS maps. Existing structure topo not available for submission.
I'll make a motion to grant waiver for section 301 F20.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Section 3.01 F21, the seal and signature of all professionals assisting with the preparation of the application. And you have, the
We
applicant
can
had
just get rid of that one.
We
Yeah,
just get rid of that?
No actions.
Yeah.
necessary.
Okay.
Yep.
Next, section 3.01 G1, state subdivision approval for septic systems, septic design approval or certification by a septic designer of the adequacy of existing system. And the applicant has not applicable.
I think we should table this particular one.
and I thought
Sorry.
we can't
I
take,
have
didn't
to
think
address
we-
it.
I didn't think we.
We
could
have to
table-
address it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't think we could table anything.
You have to, you're
Right.
addressing these waivers so that you guys can do completeness.
Right,
And I'll make a motion to deny
okay,
the waiver request for section 3.01 G1.
I'll second it.
And I'm doing that just for clarification on the grounds that I believe that the septic system is required for this structure for its intended use in this application.
okay.
Well, I
Right.
would add to that. I'm thinking more in the lines of once you start putting all these different businesses in busy corner, now that septic system that's there might have to be changed.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, but that's why we need a clarification relative.
now I know that he's told you, yeah, you're forever and the rest of your life, you can use my bathroom. But if he doesn't have a bathroom, you can't use it.
All right, so we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Section 3.01 G6, state or town driveway permit. Not applicable or, well, there's a driveway there, right?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to grant the waiver.
Second,
Okay.
So can are you guys gonna have discussion?
Yeah,
Sorry.
discussion, yes.
I'd like to know why.
Why what?
that you would like to grant that waiver?
I would grant that waiver because there's an existing driveway servicing that area already. In that parking lot.
Okay, so we make everybody contact the state when they're off of a state road.
It's not off a state road,
What is that off? Is
Not
that
off the state
considered
road.
off of town?
town.
Okay, then they would have to contact the town potentially to see if there's an amended driveway permit somehow, right?
Well,
Or
I
is that
think-
irrelevant at that point?
I think maybe when push comes to shove, that section of road is owned by the store.
Section
me
of
on
road
that.
is?
But
The road itself
the road itself,
is owned by the store?
yeah,
Inside the parking lot, you're saying?
yeah, inside the park.
Inside the,
Yeah.
not Mount Major
oh,
Highway,
okay.
inside the
All right.
parking lot.
But either way, I say, get the driveway permit thing is negligible. I mean, it's not even a driveway. It's just go into the parking.
Okay, I just was curious, that's all.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it, I just was curious.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
The
Any
only
further?
concern that was expressed by DPW was the traffic patterns of foot crossings across the road. And so he was concerned about that, that's all.
Right, and having to move the crosswalk
Yeah.
over a bit.
But is that really germane to this application?
No, I don't.
Yes,
Why?
Not yet.
right.
I think so too, for a couple of reasons. One is that, last time we spoke, you were talking about potentially using the toilets across the street for your customers, right? And I also think that there's a whole issue of safety in terms of more people being in that building, in that area. With the crosswalk where anything there is gonna be difficult, right, and dangerous, I think. So if we're sending kids or whatever your customers are gonna be across the street, that's something you should consider.
But I mean, that kind of applies to every business in that area. Well, the two ice cream stores and et cetera, right?
Well, I think the ice cream store is further down. This is right on the corner pretty much, or closer. And the proposal from whoever it was, from the state, I guess, or whoever it was on the sidewalk, was to move the sidewalk right in front of your store, basically, and straight across toward the miniature golf course. Which I think, I don't agree with, but who am I to say, right?
They're moving that crosswalk all over the place. Every place they move it, it's no good. I mean, the reason they put it on the corners there, because then
You can see
people
both
can see the
directions.
traffic coming from both directions.
Exactly.
I believe the state has said that the town would want to do that, not an applicant.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is what it said. You're right.
Correct, yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay. So, any further discussion? We have a motion and a second.
Who seconded that one?
Um,
Do you remember?
is that-
Definitely heard a second.
Somebody second.
I'll second it.
Do we have a
Thank you.
second? or do we
Thank
have
you,
a-
Doug.
Okay.
That'll do.
All right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, section 3.01 G7, state shoreland permit. The applicant wrote not applicable. So,
I'm somewhat in agreement. There's no construction going on at all.
It's kind of
It's
grandfather,
in
isn't it?
existence.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to grant the waiver
Or,
section.
or does this not apply?
what if we just, yeah,
Does
can
it
we,
not apply?
yeah, can we just agree it doesn't apply?
We'll agree it doesn't apply. No action required?
Is
Sure.
everybody okay with that? No
Yeah.
action on that?
I'll second that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, section 3.01 G8, approval for a municipal water connection. And the applicant wrote not applicable. I think this probably falls in with the, does fall in with G1?
I think so. but-
Hmm?
I think so. I'll make a motion to deny waiver request for section 3.01 G8.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, section 3.01 G9, any deed restrictions and all deeds covering land to be used for public purposes, easements, and right-of-ways over property to remain in private ownership and rights of drainage across private property submitted in a form satisfactory to the town council. And the applicant put not applicable.
So that letter that he has would have to be part of the application and recorded.
Well, he doesn't own the property, right? You don't, right? You rent?
Yeah, just rent.
I hate to bring us backwards, but might I ask a question?
Yeah.
What do you use
Sure.
for toilet now?
What? I literally, I will go across the street if needed, but I don't, because I live
You live
a
close by.
tenth of a mile from this location and I walk.
Wrong answer, then that's not
No,
gonna
I'm
help.
not gonna lie, I mean, but, I mean, I have used, you know, if there's no one in the corner store, so. And until that application comes in, and then I think that you should address that. You know, if there's an update to the system that the owner has to do, it's just not me, you know?
Gotta believe there's some sort of deed restrictions on this property. I mean, the tight location where it is. There's
I
gotta
have
be
the deed. I have the deed with me. Doesn't have anything.
I think. Yeah, but it could be something in the deeds from years ago too.
I believe that when the
Submitting that deed?
parting up of all the
Yeah.
capacity
If
for
it
all the
has
structures in the bay
restrictions
there,
Or,
when, I think it was, there was an allocation given to
Okay.
each person. Someone needs to find that file.
Submit it?
then yes.
Well, I just come back that, again, our decision is whether we grant the waiver.
Right. But if, again, if we haven't seen the deed, can you submit the deed with part of your application? So just so we can,
Didn't I submit the deed with the application? Or is that the ZBA?
Probably the zoning
Sorry.
board application.
Yeah,
That's
I have it
required
with
for that.
me if I can submit it now.
Well,
um,
yeah, it has to be reviewed by town council as well.
right,
Um,
so,
make a motion to deny
Okay.
waiver request section 3.01 G9.
I'll second it.
okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next one, section 3.01 G10. Any professionals assisting with preparing the application shall submit an insurance certificate that names the town as an insured beneficiary. And
Yeah, that's not applicable for this
It's
project.
not, okay, so
Yeah,
we can
I
just
think-
cross,
No
All right.
action.
no action, everyone all right with that?
Yes.
All right, section 3.01 G11, any other local, state and or federal permits? And the applicant put not applicable.
I don't know of any state or federal permits that would be associated with this, but I'm not qualified to say whether they exist or not. I think that would be the applicant's responsibility.
Therefore, I found out that it's not applicable.
I'm sorry, what?
I found out that it's not applicable because I'm not altering the structure. It's an existing structure. Therefore, it's not applicable.
You don't give out any winnings for certain scores on these games, do you?
Listen. Not gonna lie. Just trying to bring that nostalgia back to the Bay, and it's very tough, guys. Not gonna lie. And late heat.
I heard the
So-
Busy Bees that might be available. You put the arcade in there?
I can't afford that.
You know, there is.
So-
The question that's overlying all of this, right, which is when you say surveillance,
Yeah,
there's gonna be times when nobody's there.
yeah, in and out. Yeah, yeah,
So kids could be in there on their own doing whatever.
yeah, yeah, just like any arcade. Yeah,
I'm
like
not so
in
sure about that
Wearsby.
actually, but
Well, just like any arcade, there's someone that, you know, comes and fixes the machines and stuff like that. And I have,
well, I
you
gotta
know,
believe the place up near Weir's Beach is gotta have 1 million employees.
yeah, they have like 3 employees behind that counter doing the,
Even
I don't give away the gifts though, you know?
No, but I mean, earlier you said it would be, you'd have someone staffing it all the time. I don't believe that's the case. I mean, that you presented earlier, it's not the case.
Yeah, it's not, no,
So-
I'll be in
So to
my
your
office
question,
and I'll go
there'll be-
back
There'll
and
be
forth.
kids in there with nobody supervising.
Right.
Which also raises a question that if there's no staff there supervising and there's kids there and they need to go use the bathroom, how are they getting over to use the bathroom? How do they get access to the building?
No, they utilize the town bathroom,
They're using the new sidewalk,
the public side, the public
the new
restroom.
crosswalk.
Yeah, the new sidewalk that the town's gonna put in.
Okay.
Is pretty much a grandfathered property, right? So I make a motion that we accept the proposed waiver.
For G11.
Correct.
I would challenge that just a bit. Maybe should we go
Yeah.
back to ask if there are?
We-
If there are
Well,
saying-
we have a,
ask
we
at
can,
the
we can
town
have
board.
we have a motion, so we need a second, then we can discuss, so.
Shouldn't we have something from the state actually saying whether there is no, that they're not requiring any updates?
We need a,
Second.
we need a second.
No
A second.
seconds yet.
A second, just.
Okay.
Thank you.
Second, okay, now,
Yeah.
discussion.
Now you
please.
can discuss.
Now discuss, please. Okay, go ahead, Lee, I think you had.
No, I was just saying that. It says not applicable, but how do we know that the state isn't requiring something? It's up to the this man here to bring in the show us that the state isn't requiring anything, but how do we know that actually state doesn't?
Didn't you inquire?
Of course.
But how do we know if he inquired?
Well, let's put it this way. He says he inquired. So obviously they said he didn't need anything. So when he opens up the thing and he did need something, to let him know, and then they'll shut him down. So that's how we know. He says
But
he
in the
inquired.
meantime, if something happens and we've approved everything and somebody gets hurt or
It's not us
whatever.
shutting him down, it's the state.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're saying it's okay to run it, and if something happens, somebody gets injured or something like that, and the state turns around and jumps the town for approving it without asking us. I think all I'm saying is maybe we should have something from the state in writing, just saying there's nothing he needs.
I would be more concerned with the local than the state.
But you've done this for hair salons and everything, huh? Coming through this place?
Not like this.
Well, we've never. had
I'm,
this
I'm
many
usually the
waivers.
first, so I,
Yeah.
I'm usually the guinea pig.
We've never had someone waive everything. so-
This is a very small congested area. with a
Yeah.
Unique system of septic and.
I agree, yeah.
Mark, you had another point though? or-
I have no more points. Fine, thank you.
Well, if you have.
Was there already a motion on this one?
Yeah, there was a
Yes.
motion and a
Yes.
second to approve, I
To
believe.
waive, yeah, to waive it, so, I mean, that's up to you guys to, you can vote to waive it, or you can vote no.
Well, I say call for the vote.
Okay, that's fine, okay, so all in favor?
All right,
Aye. All opposed?
Aye
Okay, we need
or
numbers.
nay.
Need numbers, so we got 2 yays and 1 nay, so.
You want to
Okay,
show of
two-
hands?
2 yeas and 1 nay does not add
Yeah,
up to 9.
so, yeah,
Show of hands?
I can ask a roll call, I mean,
That would be much
Can I
easier.
ask a
Okay.
quick question before we have the roll call?
so
Can I go backwards? I'm sorry to do that, but I think it might be.
you have
my
a question now?
clarification.
You have a question?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Jessica, don't we know whether or not these things need this type of stuff? I mean, really, would that fall on him to have to know that? Wouldn't we know? Shouldn't
So-
we know?
Okay, so I don't know everything. So there's at a point in time that there has to be the onus of the responsibility of the applicant to bring in information to the board showing that, hey, I did call so-and-so state,
Okay,
state office, and they said, hey, I don't need this. Here's the letter stating, hey, I called and
so that onus is on him and he didn't bring anything, is what we're saying. Okay,
Right.
I'm ready for the vote.
I mean, there's
Be
a lot
realistic
that
about that. I mean, it's state and federal. I mean, this guy's leasing a property. If there's something where he's not in compliance with, I come back to what Roger said, which is that, you know, in due time, you're going to hear from the state or the feds about what you're not in compliance with. You know,
Just
so-
ask Mr. Babs.
What's that?
Just ask Mr. Babs.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a
Okay,
second?
so we have,
Back on following Jessica's process. I
okay,
mean, Jessica is the expert here,
okay,
this piece. Let's fall back on following Jessica's process as stated by Jessica.
so,
But I would challenge, I mean, so which federal agency do you want this letter from? I mean, is it
Whatever
EPA? or is it,
Jessica
you know-
says.
I think we should go back to the original. We're voting on this.
yes, we
just
are.
weren't
So,
clear.
Okay.
so we have a motion and a second to waive, section 3.01 G11, any other local, state and federal permits. Okay, so, ready? All in favor to waive?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. It was defeated. So.
So it doesn't
We-
pass.
It
Doesn't
doesn't
pass.
pass, so would we need a motion to deny?
So you can make another motion,
So we
make
need
a motion to deny
need
it.
a motion to deny. Forward, do we have a second to deny?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Hey,
All right, the waiver has been denied. Okay. And then you have, on the bottom of this, we have application.
I'll make a motion to deny the request for waivers for 3.01 G 2, 3, 4, and 5, as we have no information pertaining to them.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, then there were those additional waivers.
Those were them.
There's what he
Those were
just
the- those
voted
were the
on.
ones he
Them.
just-
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
so, okay,
Those were the ones that he.
That was the-
We just voted to deny them.
yep, and then, all right, just making sure we get everything listed here.
Okay.
1, 2. Okay,
If I may, now that we denied the waivers,
That's
Not all of
7, 8.
no, could I still be approved this evening? Or is that an impossibility? I would have to bring proof of,
You'd have to address.
I have to address
application
the
is
three that
And
we.
well,
it doesn't
if we don't approve the waivers, then it makes the application.
It's not, it's incomplete,
Exactly,
right,
right.
so. One,
We can,
So
The application's incomplete. We can't even
Two.
talk about it.
no, but you can
Four,
accept the
5, 6.
application with the condition that you will deal with the waivers at the end.
you can't, that there's not enough information that you guys have
right,
to accept it as complete in order to have a proper discussion. You don't know about septic, you don't know about water, you don't know about any of these other things that you've denied.
yeah,
Like that
Yeah.
stuff needs to either go on the plan or he needs to actually do the thing.
what action can we take, Jessica, that would give him an opportunity to perhaps come back in a month without having to completely reapply and pay?
Okay, so this is straight from your regulations. Waivers will be considered before the planning board determines whether the final site plan application is complete. If the waiver is not approved by the planning board, then the application is not complete. The applicant needs to resubmit the application, including the information not waived, so everything that was denied needs to be presented for another completeness review by the planning board at a subsequent meeting. So this states the applicant needs to resubmit the application, so he's applying all over again, and then he's gonna address these waivers. It's in your regs.
So
Hey, it's in the
but
regs.
minus,
Breaks at me, go ahead.
minus the 9 that we approved and the ones we crossed off, right?
Yep, so I'm gonna prepare that notice of decision, and so it will be clear what he would have to provide
So you would,
or add to the plan.
so you had 11 that were,
We're done.
yeah, you had 11 that were approved, 6 that were crossed off, and then the rest were denied. So we need a motion.
So you would motion, so the motion would allow him, so your motion would be to, it appears that it would be to deny the application, and you would allow the applicant to come back,
All right,
however you want to word that.
I'll make a motion. That P 24-17, that we denied the application, well, we ruled that the application is not complete. Because of the denied waivers. And that we will allow the applicant to come back next month and reapply and address the waivers that were denied.
Good.
I will second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So Steve, I'll get you
Yeah,
a
that's-
proper list of
Yeah.
stuff that you have to submit or
no, I appreciate
add to
it.
the plan.
Yep.
All right,
Seems
So-
ethical.
next. Next is. No, you want me to see it square away.
Getting a little noisy outside.
Think what the Midwestern going through. 100 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour.
I would appreciate it if you, because we have a process for that. If you give that back to me, come back tomorrow, talk to Robin, and she'll have you fill out, we have like a little form. It's like taking out a library book. You just, right, you take that, go get, so go get that copy, right? There are additional files that you may or may not want to look through prior to submitting another application, just in case you find additional information. Okay, I'll let Robin know. Okay.
Thank you.
No, because he has to do that. Yep. That's part of the.
We have 2 of these. We have 2 that are, one's more updated than the other one. Oh, I'm looking.
No,
for
that's
one.
compliant, that's next.
This is the next.
We want to
okay.
do the site plan first.
This one?
Case 24.
18.
We're gonna do this.
All right, because there's 14 and 18, right?
Mm,
No,
There's 22. Oh. Oh. That's next.
this
We
one,
have to do that.
right,
Mm.
that's part of this one, right?
We're doing this one.
No, I got 18 right there. Huh?
So we're hearing case P 2418,
18.
just to clarify.
Okay.
That's for the site plan.
All right.
P 22
22,
Mm.
14. 0.
14
Okay,
is the compliance hearing, which will take place after.
all right. Okay, so case P 24-18, permit contractor's yard for the retail wholesale of construction materials.
Didn't we
So-
approve that back when Gedry got his permit or contractor's yet?
Not him.
No,
Thought we had, but,
no, we haven't addressed this yet.
oh, okay.
Okay, so we gotta go for waivers again, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all of these waivers, according to the letter that was submitted by Mr. Varney, the reasoning is to see the excavation plan that you guys have seen
Million dollars.
enough.
So we gotta go. do the
Yeah,
waivers,
I
right?
would move
Or go
right
right to the
into the
waivers?
waiver
All right.
request and these I have double checked.
Go to our-
They are all on the plan.
Okay, so, all right, so. You go through them one at a time?
You could go through them at one at a time,
You
but
said they're all.
they're literally all on the plan.
Okay, so,
So are we granting a
could-
waiver if they're already on the plan? So
So-
there's
so
no
he-
need to waiver it.
So he didn't put it on this specific plan that states minor site plan. He didn't put those on here because it's all laid out in the excavation plan.
But-
The,
do we have to waive if they're, so we still have to?
so
Approve
you would
it.
waive them because that's a different application.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
but you're good, right?
Hmm?
You're good.
yes, they are all on the plan.
Okay. All
I'll
right,
make a motion to grant the waiver for section 3.01 F 10, 11, 13, 17, 19, and 3.01 G4.
I will second.
all right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that was much easier. All right. So. Okay, so departments are okay. This is okay.
So I'll also make a motion to accept that this application is complete.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So, Mr. Chair, with the plan review, I didn't see any outstanding issues that needed to be addressed.
Okay.
Just, I feel like we just need to mention just maybe a little bit of like public outreach. You guys went through that waiver list rather rapidly compared to the prior application. And that's because this application has been in front of the board multiple times for multiple years. So the board is well versed in what's in front of them. I don't know, I just feel like you guys just needed to put that out there. Just so that it didn't look like it was unfair from one applicant to the next.
No,
That's all I'm saying.
Fair
Jessica,
point.
that's a very fair
That,
statement.
that's,
I hold a lot of history with all of you members.
yes,
right.
I just felt like that needed to be stated.
I only see one thing. And I question it,
Right.
that we just don't move on to an approval, and it's in the department comments. Now, I don't
Thought they were
believe,
good.
I don't believe the Concom is giving us the right information. You finished the slope, didn't you?
Correct.
Well, they weren't aware of it at the time. When we had our meeting, we didn't have the information that Jessica got today.
Yeah,
Did you request it before you wrote it?
Well, kind of, yeah, by putting that comment in is.
Information you're referring
Oh,
to.
given the applicant failed to complete the required slope along the Barbarossa Mac property line over the past 5 years, we feel it would be not the town's interest to approve the application until the slope. No, I know.
Yeah, this letter only came in, I think, 2 days ago, Jessica, would that be
yeah.
correct? From
So in
Peter
all
Bond?
fairness,
Yeah.
the Conservation Commission met, I think like early May. And made those comments at that time. And that final sign off letter, they literally didn't get until this afternoon. So when they made those comments, he was not done at that time. A month ago, that was not done.
Right.
So in all fairness, that's why they made those comments. That's my opinion, that I just looking at the
My
timeline.
opinion is they should have wrote it properly. They made it, should have maybe said if it wasn't done.
Well, no, but I mean, if they're talking about what existed as they knew it, then the report comes in weeks later, how do they know what the report's gonna be?
The report was is that he was gonna finish it
Yes.
when he came
But-
back. He wasn't gonna come back until he wasn't gonna waste his time coming back unless he finished it. I mean, ridiculous.
In defense of
Yeah. 24.
the conservation board, they did not know that the slope was finished. In my previous meeting, we
Oh,
talked
here.
about trying to extend it out to allow the mud, you know what I mean, and stuff to dry up to actually let everything settle, but the board, you know, had decided that there was no way for you to waive it, so we had to move forward with it. And basically we had about a 4-week space to get it completely done, the minor site plan application and the plans in, the extra sets of plans, the sign off by Taken Bond, the inspections by Norma and Jessica, and, you know, the engineers. So it was a lot that happened in the last 4 weeks, to say the least.
So needless to say, that's the only thing I saw in this.
I'll stay as a member of the Conservation Commission. I feel confident we can move on.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chair.
Was that a motion, Tom?
No, I think
Yeah, motion
that
to-
may have just been a statement on
Right.
behalf of the
Yeah.
Conservation Commission.
Okay. We're all set, right?
I would ask the public,
Oh,
I would see if anybody else has any questions,
anybody have any other questions?
and then you could open it.
No. Any public input? All right, I'd like to make a motion, that, we approve case P 24-18.
Wait, did you, I'm sorry, did you open public?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I thought I
You
did.
know what, I-
Close it?
Public, oh, sorry. Real good?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that, we approve case P 24-18 for Green Oaks Realty Development LLC for the permitting of contractor's yard on property located at map 5 lot 72, 398 Suncook Valley Road, Alton, New Hampshire, to include the conditions as laid out in the planner review and if any were discussed in this hearing. And conditions, precedent. In the planner review.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next is case P 22-14. Green Oak Realty Development Proposal to conduct a compliance hearing regarding the acquisition of the excavation permit. It's 18. This one.
So, Mr. Chair, this compliance hearing
Yes.
was the last condition
Mhm.
that Mr. Bab had to meet in order to finalize his approval for the excavation permit. So with this, you guys were waiting for a final sign off letter from the town engineer, which was provided to you in your packet, so that came in earlier today, and there are a couple comments in my planner review, because I hadn't had that letter at the time, that refer to an anticipated letter. And what else? There's a couple comments in here that just don't apply anymore. That's my point. Now that we have the letter. He has a security bond in place for the reclamation of the excavated area, and he also has a bond in place for any maintenance that may be needed on that restored slope. So security is in place.
So are all conditions precedent satisfied at this point?
So they are, I did add, let's see. Normal stuff, just conditions precedent number 1 can go away, because that was a comment that was made at the site walk. The engineer that was with me on Friday thought that there may be a small area that may need additional material, but that was found that that was not needed, so. Condition precedent number 1 is not relevant.
The other question I had was in this T and bond letter, I mean,
Mhm.
they put the word substantially completed. Is that just poor grammar that they were?
So I think he's referring to the prior letter that he wrote. It was substantially complete. I think that's what that letter.
That's construction terminology, you know.
It's never done.
Yeah, substantially complete means essentially that it is complete to the level that it can be used for its intended purposes.
Okay.
There was 3 scheduled inspections. One was, once we removed the wood that we, and cleaned up, that we could
Yeah.
start filling. And then after we did the subgrade, which was the point that it was substantially complete, that we were basically ready for loam, that was another inspection. And then we deloamed it. I sent pictures, they okayed us to hydroseed, and then they did the final inspection. So it was on 3 levels, so there would have been different letters probably associated with each step of the
Right.
inspection.
And so that's what that is. The prior letter stated substantially complete.
And on the email in the back, it says from them, go along the northern to slope has been completed.
Yep.
So they. So that was the only one, was one, just
Yeah, cross off, cross off number 1.
anything else?
So the only other thing is that I just need to touch base with the town engineer, for one last final task order, which I think may just include Friday, like Friday's visit for construction observations.
Mhm.
Cause you're at a 0 balance right now in your account.
Oh, okay.
So it might include that and maybe like, preparation of the letter or something. So it's just one more outstanding task order to
Yeah,
don't know
so
what
I'm
it is
assuming
yet.
then there'll be a final bill.
Yeah, I did reach out to them today.
Okay, just
Yeah.
let me know. I'll bring a check up.
Yep.
No issues.
Um, we would have to contact Tom Barney, to just update the plans once you get approved. There's just one page that would just need the addition of tonight's meeting.
Okay.
So it's just one sheet of that excavation plan would just need to be updated with tonight's meeting.
Okay.
I can help explain that to Tom.
Yeah, I think you'll need to, because
Yeah.
I think when he sent the 5 sets in, with the signature lines and all that stuff, he was assuming he was all set.
Yep. Mr. Chair, so the board normally at this point would determine how long the permit was good for. There was a prior excavation application that came in and you guys gave him a 50-year permit.
Is that on here?
So
didn't see that.
that's on page 4. It's under, it's kind of down towards the second to last paragraph.
Oh, okay. 2074.
Yep.
It's scary to think of 2074.
A long ways off.
We'll all still be sitting here.
Not me.
We might be a little.
God help
Do you
us
have
all,
anything
we're all
else?
still sitting
I
here.
know,
I-
shit,
I'm-
fingernails in
I'm
the air.
just making sure.
Okay, and let me know when you're all sure.
I think so. I
All right,
think. Yep.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
so I would
You still
make
got-
the motion to include when the permit
Oh, add that in.
expires.
Okay.
Yep, I would include that in there.
All right.
Historical meeting that I go. Nothing but great. Occasionally there's a-
And you want to talk about, when you may want,
Youngster, 45.
just confirm the biannual, inspection.
Mm.
That is on page 4, subsequent condition number 5.
Yeah. I was gonna mention conditions and subsequent conditions. Would that cover everything?
Mhm.
Okay.
I think there's some tweaking of the wording that might need to occur now that we know that that embankment reclamation is done. Especially in subsequent conditions.
Mhm.
You wanna do that now?
Yes,
Okay.
might as well just go over those right now.
Okay, so let's just go over the conditions, precedent for right now, right, in case you get any.
Yeah, I think
Changes.
conditions precedent were pretty straightforward.
Those all set?
Yeah, this is adding a note, submitting the updated plan and submission of additional escrow funds.
And then the subsequent,
Yep, subsequent conditions. I kept this from the excavation permit because this allows him to work within that 10 feet.
But that working within that 10 feet is limited to maintenance only, correct?
Correct, and that's stated right in here. Yep. Right, to reclaim and maintain the berm / embankment and slope along the northern property line. Number 2 just talks about the stumps and woody debris being removed from the pit area. No additional stumps and woody debris to be used to reclaim the remaining 347 feet. Do you want to just get rid of the last half of that sentence?
Yeah.
Because it is reclaimed. So stumps and woody debris are to be removed from the pit area, period.
Period.
Um, let's see. So number 3 can reference reference the $16,000 maintenance bond for the slope. So I can get rid of this top half of that language. So the $16,000 maintenance bond was issued 9/6/2023 and should be in effect until 9/6/2033.
And the balance of the text above that is deleted then?
Yeah, and delete all that other stuff.
Because everything
Yeah,
he's done.
that's
already.
done. That's done.
So 4,
For,
get rid of that, right? Because it's completed. Right?
I would just simply change, the first few words and change it to, now that the portion of the
Okay.
most northerly slope is completed and reclaimed. It shall not be invaded by the applicant nor any future owners for any purpose other than maintenance.
and number 5
The
Um,
inspections.
looks fine.
Yeah.
And then number 6 ties all of the other conditions from the excavation permit application to this compliance hearing. Okay, I think that's it.
You're all set?
Yes.
Before the board makes a motion, can I revisit the stump verbiage?
Yes.
You want to,
Is that stump verbiage eliminating all woody debris being brought in and processed, or is that was just in reference to the woody debris that was? in front
That
of the
was,
slope?
that was removed from the slope. Yep,
Okay, because it said removed from the pit.
from the pit
Yeah.
area. So, so this,
Can we
this is,
change that verb?
yeah, so this is referencing the stumps that you took back out of that slope. That's what
Gary,
that's
can we
referencing, but
put
yeah,
that were removed? Can we add that were
Yep.
removed from the
stumps and
slope?
woody debris.
That were removed from the slope, is that?
Yeah, just
And
because
that-
we still are going to
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
stumps
Yep.
on site. So
Right.
I just want to make sure
Or-
that that doesn't.
Yeah, that were removed.
Contradictive,
Yeah,
Okay.
language,
What do they process into?
stumps.
No, what do the stumps process into?
I'm not following the question, Tom.
What do
He
you
wants
do
to
with
know
the
whether you
stump?
chip them or
Oh.
burn them.
We're basically going to shear them, dry them, and then burn them during the snow season.
Oh, okay.
And then that ash will be mixed back in with the loam to actually create
So
actual.
it's
little bit-
basically getting rid of stumps.
Correct.
So do we even need that number 2 at all? If you're gonna be processing stumps within the pit area, this really, the purpose of that number 2 was to make sure that everything was removed from the embankment and not utilized for the stability of the embankment, but they're still there. You plan on processing them.
Correct.
So.
And
should we
so
just-
that's how that would be removed from the pit area, I guess.
Huh?
so can
That's
we-
how he would be removing that from the pit area is by
Processing.
processing it.
Processing and burn.
So do we get rid of that one then?
I don't see a reason to even have that line in there.
I even
Okay.
have that, yeah. I mean, you're gonna be doing, right?
Yep.
That's-
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could even make it an annual winter cookout.
That it?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my pen down.
Okay, good. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the final sign off for the completion of the most northerly slope of the above cited application and authorize the signing of the site plan and issuance of excavation permit P 22-14 permit for case number P 22-14 for Green Oak Realty Development LLC Keith Bab in regards to an excavation operation located at map 5, lot 72, New Hampshire Route 28, 398 Suncook Valley Road, Alton, New Hampshire, to include conditions precedent and subsequent conditions as laid out in this plan review, including and noted in this hearing.
I'd like to amend that to the conditions precedent and subsequent as modified during this hearing.
Okay.
And I'll give a second to that as well.
I will second that.
We have 2 seconds. Hold on. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Crap, I forgot to
Are
bring
you
the
now-
bottle of champagne.
There we go.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now they just have 160 yards brought down to the Pine River.
All right.
Mr. Bab, I'd like to actually thank you for teaching me all about excavation projects. Because I didn't know anything about excavation until you came into the office. So I've learned a lot over these years.
It's been a very interesting journey, and I actually want to thank you for being diligent and getting the letter in the packet, seeing that it came in the last 10 seconds of the, the goal line.
Yep. And now you have a fantastic plan
Yeah.
in order to, have an example of what an excavation plan should look like.
Definitely sets the precedence in this one.
Good luck.
I almost feel bad saying goodbye.
It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to.
We're almost
Come on,
gonna miss you.
invite us to your cookouts.
I said, it's an annual cookout
Yeah.
somewhere around February when
Yeah.
it's snow.
Yeah.
So I'll get those notices of decision prepared. Send them over to Tom and then he'll know what he needs to change and update.
As soon as taking on,
I'll send that right out to you. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
On the road, Keith.
All right. Made it.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Thanks.
Good evening.
All right, so.
We're almost there. Almost there.
Move on to, any old business?
Nope.
We have nothing, okay. New business, approval of minutes. Does anybody have any changes to the, last month's minutes?
Just if you could add, so that was in attendance.
Okay, so can I just make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
These minutes I took these minutes, our recording didn't work last month for whatever reason. So they're very brief.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that now.
Yeah. So if there may be things on, I tried to write down who motioned,
Yeah.
who seconded, if things passed or whatnot.
so can we add Mark to line 60?
I'm willing to remove my request to be added because of just the statement.
No, that's not, we'll put you on there.
No, we
That's
can
fine.
put you
We can-
on there,
yeah.
just that's why they
Yeah.
look very scant.
For completeness, I guess we do need to talk about line 92. Who made the
Yeah, I
motion?
think there was something missing here. And you guys would
Determine, yeah.
go by memory, and that's the best we can do.
The adjourned.
To adjourn the meeting.
Then we move.
Yeah. Okay. So then we'll put Tom down.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So. Need a motion to approve them.
Go back to bed.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second
Second.
that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Well, we have an abstention, right? Who wasn't here?
Mr. Chairman, I abstain. I wasn't present at the meeting.
Mm. Um, We have no correspondence, right? Oh, correspondence board review, discussion.
Yep.
Anything there? 4A, MPIC committee will be scheduled once the ZBA assigns the representative.
Yep, so the MPIC, that's the Master Plan Implementation Committee.
Yeah.
I wish there was like a shorter name for that, but there isn't. So it's the MPIC committee. That's all that is. Just
Okay.
waiting for ZBA to assign somebody and we can start up.
And the CIP forms, B.
Yep, I'll send that out to department heads come the end of the month or early June.
And, okay,
Yep,
and under C, that was that letter that we got from Taco Bay.
yeah, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on that one, but I did have to reach out to this gentleman because the office was informed that someone was starting up a new business and we needed to reach out because it needed site plan.
So they're going in that corner store. They're not going in, are they going in with him with his arcade or?
No, they're in the corner store and I've been in touch with the property owner himself and had the discussion with him.
Okay,
And he's working on a site plan for that.
Okay.
So that's about as much as I kind
That's
of
it?
want to get into
okay,
with, without having an application.
all right.
Yep.
Any other business?
Yeah, quickly on that same thing. To back up what we were talking about this evening on that Taco Bay. We do need to check to see what the capacity assigned to the busy corner store is because it was never a restaurant. And
Right.
it depends on what the size of this, of the tacos he wants to do and how much sit down and whatnot, whether or not they have the capacity to run. So, I mean, I think it's gonna be hinge on what the allocations were in the bay. And the sooner you start to look for that, Scott may have a good idea on some of that, if you want to contact him.
Yeah, Mr. Williams.
And Roger, you were involved in a lot of it.
Well, the other thing I can tell you is, a general store would have a different capacity than a restaurant.
Right, but there were allocations made to everybody at a given time.
Well, wasn't that summarized in that narrative?
That's not how it works. You don't get an allocation because that has its own septic system. That's not
And it was-
out of the.
Oh, it's not part, okay.
Yeah, and it was shown as 535 gallons was the capacity.
Well, that's,
That on the septic design that,
so it's got a 535 gallon tank, is that what you're telling me?
no, it's rated for
535 gallons a day.
a day usage.
Mhm.
So it's also got a 2-bedroom apartment on it. So when it comes in, you just gotta decide whether or not.
Yeah.
that System is what
Right.
it is.
Good to have that
Because there's
information ahead of
actually-
time, though.
There's actually another application that's going to be coming in for that.
Oh,
building.
good.
The donut shop?
Yeah,
Well,
so,
that's the thing,
yeah.
it's like the building needs to.
Well,
to
donut
be
Right.
The applicant for the different businesses, is huge,
Yeah,
not the Taco Bay, not the.
yeah, so I believe the property owner is coming in with the site plan
for all the
Instead
businesses
of-
that are going in there?
in that main building, yes.
Yeah, because it's like, I thought I heard there were like 3 of
So
them.
things can get hashed out
Yeah.
when you have an application.
In there, yeah.
Really?
In that building, yeah. Oh,
Did
I'm
we
sure he
adjourn?
charges a fortune for that.
Did we adjourn?
Where it is.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, we haven't had public yet.
Oh,
I'll second
sorry.
that motion.
Public input? None, seeing none? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye, aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Sorry, I just had a question.